The stars were quiet, but the talk was loud. Humanity had just stepped onto the galactic stage, still new, still unknown. They had fought small wars, proven themselves in bursts of fire and courage, but no one really trusted them. Not yet. Deep. In the outer zones, past where most ships dared to go, there floated something old, something broken. Traders called it the Maw, a name born from fear and failure. Every race that had sent ships into it had lost them. Number signals, no survivors. Just silence. The Galactic Concord, the big group of alien species that ran most of known space, had labeled it a death zone. No entry allowed, no exceptions. It was a warning. Maybe even a test. But one human ship didn't care. The CSS Ranger wasn't a warship. It wasn't even official. It was a civilian survey vessel patched together from old military parts and newer dreams. Its captain, Evan Callahan, had once flown for Earth's Defense Force, but now he flew for curiosity and maybe for pride. His crew was small. 6 people, all told. Some had served. Others had run from service. They weren't heroes. They were just willing. They made their choice public. They were going in. No one believed them at first. Then came the laughter. The news feeds called it suicide. Diplomats called it stupidity. Even other humans shook their heads. What could they possibly hope to find? Evan didn't answer. He didn't have to. Inside the Ranger, things were tense but focused. Maggie Doyle, the engineer, checked. Systems like a mother checking on her kids. John Reyes handled comms, though he joked more than he talked. Tara Lynn studied alien languages, hoping to make sense of whatever they found. Derek Holt was the scientist, always asking questions no one wanted to hear. Lena Cruz kept them alive. When things went wrong, and Evan? He kept them moving forward. They passed the last known point of contact. The edge of safe space. Then, they crossed over. Space changed around them. Not much, not at first. Just a feeling. Like someone watching. Waiting. This is it, Evan said, voice low. We're in. Behind them, the universe stayed quiet. Ahead. Something ancient waited, and the Ranger was the only ship crazy or brave enough to see what it was. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The CSS Ranger floated into the dark. The Maw loomed ahead, a broken giant of metal and bone. It was not just a ship or a station. It was something more. Something wrong. As they moved closer, the stars behind them seemed to fade. Not because of distance, but like something was swallowing the light. This place feels wrong, Maggie Doyle said, hands tight on the controls. Evan Callahan didn't answer. He was watching the sensors. Nothing made sense. Gravity pulled in strange ways. Time readings flickered. Space itself felt sick. Inside the Maw, the Ranger drifted through wide halls that pulsed with soft light. Walls looked alive. Some parts moved when no one was looking. Others whispered when touched. Tara Lynn sat at her screen, eyes wide. These symbols, they're old. Older than any language. We know. John Reyes checked comms. We're not picking up anything. No voices, no signals, just noise. Then the ship shuddered. Lights flickered. Alarms beeped once, then died. What was that? Lena Cruz asked. Something hit us, Maggie said, checking systems. Or maybe woke up. From deep inside the Maw, movement began. Slow, quiet, like breathing after a long sleep. Small machines rose from hidden places. Spider-like drones, eyes glowing red. They moved fast. One drone shot first. Energy fire cracked through the halls. The Ranger's outer shell took a hit. We're under attack. Derek Holt shouted. Evan flew the ship deeper, dodging fire. Maggie, can we shield this thing? Not against that. she yelled back. They found a chamber big enough to land in. The Ranger touched down hard. The crew ran out, guns ready. Nothing moved until they stepped too far. More drones came. Dozens of them, clicking and crawling. Firing bursts of energy. Gunfire echoed through the halls. John took a hit to the leg, fell hard, but stayed awake. Pull back. Evan shouted. They dragged John inside and sealed the door. He was hurt, but not dead. As the team caught their breath, Tara looked at the walls again. Those symbols, they changed. Changed how? Lena asked, like they saw us. Like they knew who we were. Derek frowned. Maybe they did. Outside, the drones stopped. Silence returned. But the feeling stayed. Whatever had been sleeping here, it wasn't anymore. And now it was watching them. Just like they were trying to watch it. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The silence after the attack felt heavier than before. The crew of the CSS Ranger stayed inside the ship, watching the dark halls through their screens. Nothing moved. Not yet. Inside the chamber where they had landed, the walls pulsed like veins under skin. Tara Lynn kept staring at the symbols, tracing them with her eyes. They were changing again, slower this time, like something was thinking. It's not just a machine, she said finally. It's remembering. Evan Callahan looked over. Remembering what? Us, or maybe what we are. Maggie Doyle sat near the engine controls, arms crossed. Then why did it shoot at us? Tara didn't answer right away. Maybe it. Wasn't sure what we were. But now, I think it is. Derek Holt leaned forward, excited. This could be the key to everything. If this place belonged to an empire that fell, and its systems are still running, we're not looting a tomb. Lena Cruz cut in. We're trying not to die. Evan held up a hand. Both of you, stop. We stick to the plan. Map what we can, find out what this thing is, and get out. But plans changed. As they split into two teams to explore different parts of the maw. John Reyes stumbled on something deep in the walls. He had been walking behind Maggie and Lena when he saw a door slide open by itself. No touch, no command. Just opened. He stepped inside. What he found made his breath catch. Rows of bodies. Floating in clear pods. Some looked human. Others didn't. All were still. This isn't a station, he whispered. It's a grave. Back in the main chamber, Tara worked fast. She had pieced together more of the language, enough to understand. A warning. Do not wake what must sleep. Meanwhile, Derek argued with Evan. We can't leave this behind. If we can activate even part of this system, we could give humanity something no one else has. Evan shook his head. Or we could bring down something worse than war. The argument ended when the ground shook. Something had changed. In the far wing, John pressed his hand to one of the pods. The glass fogged, then cleared. The eyes inside opened. And stared back. He ran. Behind him, lights flickered. Machines stirred. Whatever had been waiting here was waking up, and the Ranger was still inside. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The CSS Ranger was no longer alone. From the deep halls of the maw, movement spread like fire under ice. Something had woken up, something old and waiting. John Reyes ran back through the halls, heart pounding. Behind him, the pod had opened on its own. The thing inside had looked at him, not a monster. Not quite human either, just aware. He didn't stop running until he found Lena Cruz and Maggie Doyle. It's alive, he gasped. They're all alive. Maggie stared at him. What are you talking about? In the chamber, rows of pods. Some have humans, others not, but they're waking up. Lens narrowed. How? I don't know. I touched one and it opened. Then something else started happening. Back at the main chamber, Tara Lynn was still working on the symbols. She had translated more of them now. The message was clearer. This place wasn't just built to hold things, she said. It was built to change them. Evan Callahan came. Over. Change what? Species, life, whatever came here. It left different. Meanwhile, Derek Holt stood near the core system. The machine pulsed beneath his hands. He could feel it like it was listening. We were meant to find this, he whispered. Evan's voice cut through the comms. Derek, get back here. We don't know what we're dealing with. But Derek didn't move. No, this is it. This is why we came. He pressed both hands against the panel. Lights flared across the walls. Machines hummed. Far away, something huge groaned awake. Then, a voice, not loud, not soft, just there. In their minds, you are not like the others. Everyone froze. Tira looked up. It's speaking to us. You are new, yet you carry the same spark. John shook his head. What does that mean? Will you finish what was begun? The room fell silent. Evan stepped forward. Finish what? But the voice didn't answer. Instead, the walls changed again. Maps appeared. Battle plans. Weapons unlike anything humanity had ever seen. And in the far halls, the first footsteps echoed. Not theirs. Something else had woken up, and it was coming to meet them. The voice was gone, but the message stayed in their heads like a whisper that wouldn't leave. Will you finish what was begun? Evan Callahan didn't like the sound of that. He had seen what finishing wars looked like. He wasn't about to start one, but Derek Holt saw something else. Power. Purpose. This is it, Derek said, eyes wide with awe. This place could change everything for us. Maggie Doyle shook her head. Change how? By waking up whatever killed this place in the first place. Tara Lynn kept reading the symbols, trying to find more answers. This empire didn't fall from outside attack. They fell from inside. They turned on each other. Len's crew stood near John Reyes, who was still pale from seeing the pods open. We need to leave. Now. But before anyone could move, John staggered. He gripped his head and fell to one knee. John? Lena asked. His breath came fast. Heavy. Then he looked up and smiled. Not like himself, like something else. It's in me, he whispered. I can hear it. Everyone took a step back. What do you mean? In you? Evan asked. John blinked, shaking his head. It's not taking over. It's showing me things. He stood slowly, unsteady at first, then stronger. It wants to be used, he said. It wants to fight. Derek stepped closer. Fight who? John looked at him. The ones who did this. The ones who are still out there. Tara's fingers flew across her screen. She found more logs. More warnings. This tech doesn't just change bodies, she said. It changes minds. It rewires people. Evan turned to Derek. You want to use this? You want to turn into something else? Derek didn't answer right away. Then he did. If it makes us strong enough to survive out here? Yes. Evan's jaw tightened. Then we're not on the same side anymore. A silence settled between them. Outside, deep in the halls. Something moved. Something big. And it was coming closer. The station hummed with new life. Machines woke. Doors opened. And far away, deep in the core, an old system powered up. Ready to be used. By whoever reached it first. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The CSS Ranger crew was breaking apart. Evan Callahan saw it in their eyes. Some wanted to leave. Others wanted to change. And one of them, John, was already changing. He stood taller now. His voice was steadier, like the thing inside him wasn't hurting him, but helping him see. You don't understand, John said. This isn't just tech. It's a weapon. And it's waiting for someone to use it. Derek Holt nodded. Then let's be the ones. Evan stepped between them. No. We came here to learn, not to start a war. Maggie Doyle looked at the readings on her pad. We don't even know what this thing can do, and you want to turn it on? Tara Lynn kept reading the symbols. She found something worse than she expected. This station wasn't just built to fight, she said. It was built to end wars, all at once. Len's crews frowned. What does that mean? Tara looked up. It means if we trigger this system, it won't just attack one enemy. It will hunt down every trace of a whole species. Silence filled the room. Evan turned to Derek. Is that what you want? Total war? Maybe even extinction? Derek didn't flinch. If it keeps humanity safe? Yes. That was the last straw. Evan moved fast. He grabbed Derek by the collar and shoved him back. You're not thinking straight. Derek fought back. They crashed into the control panel. Lights flickered. A deep hum rolled through the walls. Something had started. You idiots! Maggie shouted. You triggered something. Tara checked the screen. Her face went pale. Launch sequence is active. Something's leaving the station. Evan cursed under his breath. Shut it down now. But it was too late. Deep in the core, a hatch opened. A ship one long dormant powered up and rose into the void. We have to stop it, Lena said. Evan looked at John. Can you reach? Can the thing inside you stop this? John closed his eyes, then shook his head. Not stop, but maybe slow. Evan didn't wait. He ran. So did the others. Behind them. The station groaned like a beast waking up. And far away, in the dark of space, something ancient began its journey. To find a war that had never ended. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The CSS Ranger barely made it out. Alarms blared as the maw shuddered behind them. Systems flickered. Metal groaned. The station was dying. Evan Callahan held the controls. Tight. His hands didn't shake, but his heart did. We're clear, Maggie Doyle shouted. But just barely. The ship shot out into open space like a bullet from a gun. Behind them, the maw collapsed in on itself, swallowed by its own failing power. But it wasn't all gone. Something left before we shut it down. Tara Lynn said, staring at her screen. That ship, it got away. John Reyes sat nearby still. Not quite himself. The thing inside him had quieted. Maybe it was sleeping. Maybe it was waiting. Derek Holt was gone. Lost in the chaos, he had chosen the mission over the crew. And it had cost him everything. Len's crews checked John's vitals. One last time. He's stable. For now, Evan exhaled. For now will have to be enough. Weeks later, they returned to human space. Battered, missing 2 crew members, but alive. The galaxy was watching. Governments demanded answers. News feeds called them heroes, fools, or monsters. Some wanted to study the tech they brought back. Others wanted it burned, but Evan had something else in mind. He stood before a live feed and spoke to every human colony that would listen. We went into something old, something broken. We saw what war can become when there are no limits, and we came back. He paused, not because we were stronger, not because we were smarter, but because we remembered who we were. Then he turned to Tara. She held the last piece of the maw small data core. Hidden under layers of code. It wouldn't be destroyed. Not yet. Somewhere far away, that lost ship was still flying, heading toward an enemy long forgotten, and someday, someone would have to answer for what was coming. Until then, humanity had made its choice. Not war, not surrender. Just survival, and the will to face whatever came next. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The lost ship was fast. It flew through the dark like it knew where it was going. No pilot, no crew, just code, just purpose. Deep inside its core, old orders played again and again. Target, Zeller status, enemy mission, terminational. One on Earth knew the name Zellari. Not yet, but someone else did. Far beyond human space, past the borders of the galactic concord, a signal woke something up. A station hidden in the dust of a dead star lit up like a heartbeat returning after centuries of silence. A voice cold, sharp spoke into the void. The hunter returns. Screens blinked to life. Weapon systems booted. Data streams filled with war plans long forgotten. On a nearby world, beneath thick jungles and ancient ruins, the Zilari stirred. They had won their last war by hiding. Now they would have to fight. Back on Earth, the CSS Ranger had become legend almost overnight. Some called them heroes, others threats. Evan Callahan didn't care what they said. He just wanted time. Tara Lynn worked every night, trying to understand the fragment they had taken from the maw. She found pieces of history wars erased from records, species wiped out without a trace. This wasn't just one empire, she told Evan. It was dozens, all linked, all destroyed. He looked tired, and now we're part of it. Maggie Doyle stayed with the ship, keeping it ready. For what? For when they come looking, Evan said, because someone would, either the XELARI. Or whatever survived the maw. Weeks passed, then the first reports came in. A colony near the edge of human space lost contact. Ships vanished without warning. And then a message arrived, not from any known species, but from something else. Just 4 words. You have been seen. Len's crews read it aloud. Someone's watching us now. John Reyes stood by the window, staring at the stars. Not watching, he whispered, already hunting. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The message spread fast. You have been seen. No one knew who sent it. No ship had come close. No signal had been sent from human space. But the words hit every colony, every military base, every government channel like a warning carved into the sky. Someone or something knew about humanity now. Evan Callahan read the message 3 times before he closed his eyes. He had hoped for more time. He didn't get it. Tara Lynn worked nonstop, trying to trace the signal. She found nothing. It was like the message had always been there, waiting to be noticed. This isn't just a threat, she said. It's a fact. We're not hidden anymore. Maggie Doyle stood near the CSS Ranger, checking systems like she could make the ship faster, stronger, ready for whatever came next. We should leave, she said, before someone finds us. Too late. John Reyes muttered. He had changed since the maw. Quieter, sharper. Sometimes he heard things no one else did. Sometimes he knew things before they happened. Len's crews stayed close to him. Not because she trusted what was inside him, but because she trusted him. Back on Earth, panic started to grow. Governments argued. Some wanted to hide. Others wanted to fight. A few wanted to find the Zilari first and end it before it began. Evan wouldn't let that happen. He spoke again to the colonies, this time with fire behind his voice. We didn't go looking for war. We found something old, something broken, and we survived. That's all we did. But now the galaxy knows our name. He paused. They'll come, not because we attacked them, but because we proved we can survive what breaks others. Lenz asked. Then what do we do? Evan looked at the stars. We get ready. Because out in the dark, the lost ship still flew, and behind it, something followed. Not just the XELARI. Something older. Something worse. And it was coming to see if humans were prey or predators. The first attack came without warning. A deep space relay station near the edge of human space went dark. Then a second. Then a mining colony vanished. No distress call, no sign of struggle. Just gone. Evan Callahan watched the reports come in, his face hard like stone. They're testing us, he said. Tara Lynn sat at her console, eyes tired but sharp. We don't even know who they are. John Reyes stood by the window of the CSS Ranger, staring into the stars. He didn't speak for a long time. When he did, his voice was low. They're not coming to talk. Len's crews checked weapon systems again, even though she had checked them 10 times before. Then we better be ready. Maggie Doyle worked on the engines, pushing the old ship harder than ever. This thing's been through hell. I don't know if it can take another fight. Evan looked at her. It'll have to. Back on Earth, governments scrambled. Some built walls in space. Others tried to run. A few called for war, but humanity had no army big enough for this. Not yet. What they had were stories, and one ship that had survived what others could. Not. Evan stood up from his seat and gave orders. We find the source. We find who sent that message. Tara frowned. You think we can fight whatever's out there? He shook his head. No, but we can make sure they know we won't go quietly. The CSS Ranger left orbit the next day. They followed broken signals. Dead ships. Trails of silence. And then they found it. A ship unlike any they had seen. Not Solari, not human. Not anything known. It floated in the dark, watching. Waiting. Like it knew they would come. John touched the screen. His breath caught. It's not alone, he whispered. Evan looked at the radar. Dozens of blips appeared behind the first. Something ancient had noticed humanity. And now it was watching all of them. Not as prey. As something new. Something dangerous.